Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buckeye Politics. The Iowa caucus is about 24 hours from now. And with that, I thought we should do a prediction video since I'm going to be streaming the results live tomorrow. I thought it would be good to kind of get my opinions on who's going to win and kind of look at the themes of the race going into tomorrow evening, see how the candidates are projected to do, look at things such as the weather and other stuff like that. If you're new, be sure to like and subscribe. And let's get right into looking at the polling. So really, I'm going to be honest right here off the bat. I don't see there being much of a surprise tomorrow. I think Trump wins relatively handily. I think he pretty much performs in line with the polls. I think the big question tomorrow is not whether or not Trump wins. I think it's how big of a victory he gets. The Des Moines Register, as you can see here, this poll, it's the second poll down, they are by far the most accurate pollster in Iowa. They have got the primaries, general elections down to a T. They've been within about a point or so of being correct pretty much every single election in the last few cycles. And they have Trump at 48%, Nikki Haley at 20%, DeSantis at 16%, Vivek at 8%, and Asa Hutchinson at 1%, which is actually so Trump is actually slightly underperforming as all the rest of the polls, as you can see here, have him in the low 50s. Now, it's not a huge underperformance, but getting under 50 is still a big deal. It means that a majority of Republicans do not support Donald Trump, which I think which could give Haley or DeSantis momentum. So the big thing here is not whether or not Trump wins. Trump is going to win relatively handily tomorrow. I don't question that at all. But the big thing that we need to figure out is whether or not it's going to be a decisive win, like Emerson, the most recent poll came out like 15 minutes ago, has Trump at 55%, which is a decisive victory. If Trump is in the mid to low 50s or even the high 50s, like 60s, as a couple polls here and there have him at, then that is a decisive win. That shows that there is no questioning Donald Trump is going to be the nominee. He gets under 50%, he underperforms a little bit, Haley or DeSantis have a good night, that could signal to people that Trump is vulnerable and that other candidates could possibly, improve on their margins. I don't think Trump is has any chance of losing the nomination, but I'm more concerned that it's going to give people, especially those with big money, especially big dollar donors who support Haley and DeSantis, they might get the idea that Trump is vulnerable, they'll stay in the race, they'll keep spending money, they'll keep dividing the party, and that's the last thing we want. But I still think Trump is going to win relatively handily tomorrow. I think he probably performs in line with the average, which you can see here on the graph. I think Trump gets about 52, 53, maybe 54% of the vote. I think Haley comes in second at about 20%, DeSantis just behind her, and then Vivek at maybe 8% or so. So let's go actually map that out right here. We'll go to YAPMS, go to Iowa. So Trump gets about, let's say, 52% of the vote. He pretty much performs in line with polling and the polling average, which I think he will. I don't see too big of a shift from that. He could do a few points better, could do a few points worse, but as long as he does better than 50, which I expect him to do, I think he's fine. Nikki Haley, I think gets about 20% of the delegates, about 20% of the vote as well. Same with DeSantis. I think DeSantis and Haley will be very close. Each of them get about maybe 18, 19, 20% of the vote. I think Haley does slightly beat out DeSantis, and the remaining 3 delegates, I believe, will go to Vivek Ramaswamy. So Trump wins with about 52% of the vote, gets a majority of the delegates, just barely, but I do think that he will. Haley and DeSantis get each 8 delegates, Vivek gets 3, Asa Hutchinson and Ryan Binkley get 0. Although Asa, in some polling, is at 1-2%, so he's on the cusp. Maybe Asa gets a delegate and Vivek only gets 2, but I think Vivek, as of now, should get about 3 delegates. Like I said, I think Trump performs pretty much in line with polling. There really hasn't been any bumps or collapses for any candidate except maybe Haley, but even then she's had a pretty long surge. And really, since around August, there has not been very much shifting in terms of who voters are supporting. I think that's indicative of the fact that Trump is just very popular. He's basically the incumbent president, and Haley and DeSantis just aren't very energizing. It'll be interesting to see how Vivek does. Maybe he takes a lot of support from Trump, and then there's some more animosity between those two, but I think that Trump should win relatively handily. Really not a whole lot to talk about. Pretty much the polls, every poll is pretty much in line with what I'm saying right here. There's really no outliers that show DeSantis or Haley coming even close. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and come to the stream tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, and if you live in Iowa, get out and vote tomorrow.